Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you well from wherever you watch this channel. Kipruto Arap KIRWA has surfaced with a very explosive statement regarding William Ruto and the tour in Mount Kenya. So Kipruto Arap KIRWA is telling us something here that Justin MUTURI told him.
He told me, your friend is impossible to advise. He spends a lot of time advising us on how we should advise him. And MUTURI has, for the last 4 months, anybody is saying so because he has lost the opportunity to be minister, is deluding himself. MUTURI has been very clear. He did not believe in this regime, and it's not that he has done so because he has left the place.
So Kipruto Arap KIRWA has told us something about a secret that Justin MUTURI told him about RUTO. Kipruto lists things here which we cannot ignore. First of all, he talks about advisors. Of course, we all know that RUTO has many advisors. But the big question has been, does he listen to the advisors? You know, that's something that we also need to keep on asking ourselves. Does he listen to the advisors? Because according to Kipruto Arap KIRWA, and the secret he was given by Justin MUTURI is that RUTO has advisors who he advises. Could you note that part? He has advisors who is the one who advises. So before we explore this story further, kindly like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for your support. Now, Kipruto Arap KIRWA told us in an explosive interview that former IG MUTURI, as the government legal advisor, could not advise William Ruto because President Ruto could not be advised. Take note of that, could not be advised. And then he went further to say, Ruto is a micromanager, but the constitution bars him from being a dictator. You know, the fact that he's a micromanager makes it possible for him to become a dictator. That is according to Kipruto Arap KIRWA. Then there's another very important point here. He says that anybody can be created and win against William Ruto. Let's say, for example, in 2002, when there was there was Moi, and Moi had endorsed Uhuru Kenyatta. And this other faction, there were opposition leaders who were not united. Because they were not united, there was need for some kind of unity. You see, back then, we had Charity Ngilu, we had Musikari Kombo, we had Raila Amolo Odinga, we had Kalonzo Musyoka, we had Mudi Awori, we had so many people. So what happened is that because there were so many people and Kikuyus were going to vote for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Raila endorsed Mwai Kibaki. That's why you have the famous Kibaki Tosha. And Kenyans rallied behind Kibaki. So what Kipruto Arap KIRWA is telling us is that even now, they can create another Kibaki Tosha situation that will unseat William Ruto. But he says that the opposition front must be united. But if they're not united, they will let William Ruto secure another chance very easily. So, ladies and gentlemen, without wasting much of your time, I wanted to pay attention to this video. This is what Kipruto Arap KIRWA told us.
So I sat with him and I told him, how is this situation? As usual, when we are away from the cameras, we speak the truth. He told me, your friend is impossible to advise. He spends a lot of time advising us on how we should advise him. It was at the Nairobi club, so at times people think that we make up these stories. We don't make them up because this is the reality. And MUTURI has, for the last 4 months, anybody is saying so because he has lost the opportunity to be minister, is deluding himself. MUTURI has been very clear. He did not believe in this regime, and it's not that he has done so because he has left the place. He has done so because he believes in so. Now, the second issue which many people are criticizing him is about the issue of raising issues of corruption. You remember, there are a number of things that we knew they wanted him to sign when he was minister, when he was the AG. And he himself decided not to engage in any activity that would prejudice his position in future when history of this country is rewritten. And therefore, I was surprised to see our friends and colleagues from ODM vilifying MUTURI and reminding us of certain bills in the National Assembly about certain construction of a structure within the premises of Parliament. Now, why have they not talked about that? Why are they talking about it now? So it is a situation that we in Kenya, we choose to say what we are saying because we are on this side of the equation. We choose not to speak the truth about what we perceive as a national problem. Yes, we know President William Ruto, I've said it so many times, is a micromanager. I've said President William Ruto runs the risk of making himself a dictator in this country, save for the fact that we have a robust constitution that will not allow him to do those things. Therefore, I was happy when he realizes that he can also lose the election. Because elections, unlike what the Honorable Mungatana says, elections is not about those who vote for you. In many cases, you lose elections because there are many people who are voting against you, and they could pick anybody else. If they were even, the opposition was to pick somebody, even like myself, I may cause a lot of trouble to him. Because any politician can be made what he is by those who develop consensus. In 2001, when the polls were taken about the politicians who are likely to take over from Moi, Kibaki's name was not even among the first 7. But when it came to the moment of Kibaki Tosha, he got 66% of all the votes cast in that particular election. So anybody can be created, Kalonzo or any other person. And once we have that consensus, we are likely to win hands down. It is the disorganization of the opposition that may allow William Ruto to squeak through back to leadership. Otherwise, if we are organized, I don't see him winning the next election at all.
All right. Very well, ladies and gentlemen, that is Kipruto Arap KIRWA. Now, there's something very important here. Ruto advises his advisors. You know, this is a problem not even with Ruto alone. Most politicians have these problems. You know, I can give you a story. I happen to become a PA somewhere of a certain member of parliament, but because that member of parliament had a company that embraced ICT, and because my profession is in ICT, I was his advisor, but matters ICT. The funny thing is that most of my advices were not taken seriously. But when I left the institution, that is the time I realized that most of the advices which he used to ignore, kumbe he was documenting them. So he ended up implementing them after I had left. So that it should lead you to something. You know, it's true, Ruto has advisors whom he advises, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't take into consideration those advices. He takes them, but chooses when to implement them. He might want to implement them when you have been reshuffled to another docket, so he implements them. The main reason why they do this is to make sure that you feel inferior. Because if you give advice na hiyo inafanyika, the impression that will create ni kwamba the person you're advising depends on you. So what they normally do, they disregard your opinion first, so that you end up feeling that wewe ni kama mtu, you can't deliver. And then after that has happened, then they slowly start thinking about how to implement your advice. That is exactly what happens. And when that happens, it's always when you are already gone. So it will be done, but kama hauko. So that is what I also went through. My advices were implemented when I had already left the institution. So when Kipruto Rapkiro tells us that Justin Muturi told him that his friend does not listen to advices, maybe that is true. I think that is true. because that is how most politicians behave. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you have to say about this statement from Kipruto Arap Kirwa? Remember, Kipruto Arap Kirwa was William Ruto's friend long time ago, but these days he is not Ruto's friend, and sometimes he fights Ruto on the media regarding vitu nafaa aseme, how Ruto should do things. Sometimes ampigi vita na mwacha. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until we catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.